Cleveland, the city of champions? That's what they're saying right now in Cleveland. That's what one of the announcers predicted. I wonder how long you have to... How many times you have to win to be classified as a city of champions? It seems like one win after competing for about 50 years doesn't grant you the City of Championship status. Just my humble opinion. All I'm saying is 6 Super Bowls, 4 Stanley Cups, and many World Series. But in the recent era for us, we've had 4 cups since the 60s, but we've had 2 cups in the recent era, 2009 and just this past year, obviously 2008 with our last Super Bowl. So yeah, they've got 1 championship in a team that's never done it before. All I'm saying is maybe the term City of Champions is maybe a little bit overdoing it. Just, again, my humble opinion. I'm glad for Cleveland, to be honest. I know everyone in this town hates Cleveland, so they're miserable anytime the city experiences any type of success, but I don't have any issues with the Cavaliers. I don't know why anyone would. I really don't despise the city. Maybe it's because my allegiance is to the Pittsburgh Penguins as my personal favorite sports team, and I could say that because I'm not a sports journalist. I just like to talk about sports every once in a while. I like to talk about the societal impact, and I think that's what's interesting about the Cavaliers. I don't hate the city of Cleveland as many of you do. I hate the city of Philadelphia, and again, that may come from my allegiance to the Penguins, whereas the Steelers, I'll watch them, but it's not as big of a deal to me. I didn't grow up in that era where the Browns were really good. In fact, the Browns are kind of a joke. So, I don't know. I'm not that passionate about my hatred for Philadelphia. It's fun to, knock on people who live there or came from there, such as Heather Nevels, our meteorologist, who will be calling in later today to gloat about her team's win. Her team from Cleveland, where she just was yesterday. So the City of Champions title, is that a little overdoing it for a team that has so infrequently, or a city that has so infrequently won? It has been a good week for Cleveland, though. They were just rated the number 1 metal scene in the United States. Pittsburgh came in number 3, so kudos to us. I mean, we do have some phenomenal metal bands here in Pittsburgh, such as Greywalker and Only Flesh and Claymore and all of these great local metal bands that I've been fortunate enough to experience at some of the great music festivals I've been a part of. So, I don't know. City of Champions. What are your thoughts? 412-4072-PGH, or you can hit me up on Twitter at RIverTalk_PGH. Again, 412-4072-PGH. I am the most interesting man in the Burgh, your voice of reason among 3 rivers of chaos. And we have Matt Geika, who will be coming in just a few minutes. He's going to talk to us about a sports update. He's going to talk to us about this championship in Cleveland, the City of Champions, as they now call themselves. He's going to talk about the U.S. Open that took place in Oakmont, just wrapped up yesterday. And I did watch the game. Did you watch Oakmont? I thought it was kind of bizarre. Not Oakmont in and of itself, but the fact that the PGA was here in Pennsylvania, just outside the city, and in what would normally have been a huge hype, it went pretty much relatively unnoticed. And I thought that was kind of interesting because the Stanley Cup Finals were going on, and the Penguins were in the Stanley Cup Finals. But I thought, how often does the U.S. Open come to town and kind of stay under the radar through most of its time here, most of the hype leading up to it? We're going to bring in Matt in just a few minutes. I was at the Lo-Fi Delphi release party. That was Saturday, and then the Gene the Werewolf party on Friday. Awesome time. Phenomenal time. If you missed out on that, shame on you. You got to hit up Ultra Bar before the end of next month. It'll be gone. And I was there Friday for the Gene the Werewolf show, and it was kind of a sentimental experience to me because I've experienced so many phenomenal bands there, and a lot of the local bands a lot of the national bands that came through there were phenomenal, but it was always the local bands that got me in the door, and we don't have a lot of venues like the Ultra Bar here in Pittsburgh that fit that specific number of people that can fit in. It's about a 600 occupancy at the Ultra Bar. I believe Smalls is, they say, around 650. But you need a certain type of venue to attract a lot of international and national touring bands, especially in the metal community, where some of these bands may sell out an entire stadium over in Europe. Here in the United States, they're filling in the Ultra Bar, 600 people. So you're talking thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people to literally just around 600. And they're not going to play at a smaller venue because they need to get that ticket revenue in there. But at the same time, they're not going to fill out Console Energy Center either. So you need venues such as the Ultra Bar, and I'm hoping that Drusky's able to find, I know Drusky's the major promoter at the Ultra Bar, I'm hoping Drusky's able to find a good replacement for the Ultra Bar. But it's going to be sad. Again, I've just seen so many great musicians there, so many great bands, and a lot of these international bands I've seen, which are really great, I was introduced to them because of the local bands that got to play at Ultra Bar, and it was really just a cool venue for a local band to play at. I almost feel like if you made it into Ultra Bar, that was the next step up on your way to success. So here's hoping they find a great replacement, and thank you, Ultra Bar, for all of the wonderful memories. We've got Matt Geica up next here on the River's Edge.
Hey, this is Matt Geica, the host of your alternative sports talk program on the River's Edge. It's called Geica's Got Game, and it's every Friday at 7 a.m. I'll give you a peek behind the sports media curtain, zoom out for the big picture, and always obsess over the details of the games, teams, and players we love or love to hate. That's Geica's Got Game every Friday at 7 on the River's Edge.